What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cozy Talks. I'm Joe. Today we're going to be talking about Dana White Contender Series Week 2. Go over our picks, our breakdowns, try and share some live odds as they stand. We're going to try and get this video out as quick as we can since today is Tuesday and they do fight at 6. If you're new to the channel, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment on any of the picks you got. Let's get into it. So we got first fight of the night. We got Tommy Cuozzi versus Ramiro Jimenez. Both guys undefeated. On one side we got Tommy Cuozzi. He seems to be the much more hittable guy here. He has never been to a decision. He has quite a few amateur losses, however. Early on in his career, he lost, I think it was 4 straight. Yeah. It was a while ago, 2017 through 2019. His last time out was against Giovanni Meza. You can find the fight on YouTube. That's how I found some of his tape. And that wasn't a very impressive win, in my opinion, when I watched it. Meza rushed a takedown kind of off the rip in the first round. And Cuozzi worked him down to the ground, found top, found Meza's back, and somehow submitted him by flattening him out, which I'm sure it's an uncomfortable position, but wins like that, you're like, okay, well, and on the other side, you got Ramiro Jimenez, 10-0. Jimenez will be the much quicker striker on the feet. He has that strong jab that he can play off of. It can do a lot of damage on a guy like Cuozzi, who's very hittable on the feet. He has the better grappling. Cuozzi, I'm not sure if he's a black belt now. He was a brown belt as of a year ago. But yeah, I think he's gonna be able to dictate wherever this fight goes. He is recently coming off of a tournament over at Combat Global. You can see the time here. They're all a year and 8 months ago. All these, from what I understand, were within like the first day, or within like a day or two of each other. I'm not exactly sure how you do that, if that's even like a legal thing. I mean, obviously it is, but it's kind of crazy to go and fight 3 fights in a row like that. But you can make an argument that this fight was probably his toughest against like Pablo Burgos, who, if you look him up, he during this tournament popped for steroids. So, he beat a guy who was probably roided out of his mind, freaking, off sauce. And then he comes in his next 2 and he finds a finish. He does look to be the bigger guy. I don't have the skill fit photos in front of me right now, but you can look him up at MMA Junkie if you are interested in looking. But from what I can tell off the film I've seen on these guys, my pick here is Jimenez to get the win, and probably within the distance. So moving on, we got Josh Hokit versus Guillermo Uriel. This is a heavyweight bout. On one side, we got Josh Hokit, who I'm not sure if any of you guys are very up to speed with football or wrestling as the sports. Hokit was a NFL player. I don't know if he had any stats, but he did show out for the 49ers and the Cardinals. He was a D1 wrestler. Yeah, he's a guy that's going to want to get this fight to the ground. I mean, his stand-up game's okay, but he is definitely going to be the more proficient guy if this fight finds its way to the ground, which is going to be what he's going to try to do here. He's going to want to gas out a guy like Guillermo Uriel. And yeah, he's going to work it, try and get him down, maybe get a crucifix, finish. He is... Both these guys are pretty small as far as weight goes for heavyweights. I mean... Yeah, this guy, Josh Hokit, he fought on Bellator. He fought in LFA. He made his debut on Bellator, which I think is kind of crazy. He kind of just, as far as his record shows, he kind of skipped over any sort of amateur scene and just kind of made his way straight into, the big leagues as far as the regionals go. Yeah, on the other side, we got Guillermo Uriel. He's kind of the opposite here. He's the guy who wants to keep this fight standing. He's gonna come out guns hot. Freaking, he is gonna be either KO or get KO'd. That's how he likes to play it. His one loss was against Camacho. Camacho, if you look at Camacho's record, Camacho just lost to Pinto on the Contender Series, which was over a year ago. Yeah, Uriel, he likes to get the finish here, and if he can get the knockdown here, he might follow Hokit to the ground, play Hokit off his back. But I don't know if I see that happening here. I think Hokit's going to try and push pace and try and be the guy to work him against the fence and tire out Uriel. I mean, as long as Hokit can survive the early onslaught, I think he can. I think he can get a guy like Uriel down and find the finish on the ground, whether it's club and sub or if it's just a straight up rear naked choke, finding Uriel's back. Because it's heavyweights. Heavyweights kind of notorious for that. Get them down. All they want to do is get their back and get up, and because they don't want to be laid on by a guy who's 230, 240 pounds, for 15 minutes. So yeah, give me Hokit. Give me Hokit sub or inside the distance. It could be like I said, could be a KO on the ground. Moving on, got Lewis Lee Scott versus Kaushik Saikumar. Lewis Lee Scott on the scales came in a bit heavy. I think he was like a pound over or a pound and a half. I think he was 137 or 137 and a half. He trains at Manchester Top Team, and that's where Lerone Murphy trains. He's my pick in this fight. He will have the better kickboxing. He's solid on the feet. He's definitely be the quicker guy. And if the striking doesn't work out for him, he has the wrestling in his back pocket he can always fall on. He will be the better cardio guy as well. In his last few fights, he's been fighting 5-rounders. Because I think that's what Aries does on their promotion. They do 5-round fights. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say what it was. I'm pretty sure this was a 5-rounder. I think this was a 5-rounder as well. But it ended inside the first. And on the other side, we got Kaushik Saikumar. Saikumar, he trains at 50-50, which is, I think it's Ryan Hall's gym. Yeah, it's Ryan Hall's gym. And they play a lot of jiu-jitsu over there. And you can kind of tell in the way that Kaushik strikes, he's a bit awkward on the feet. He has like a very stiff high guard, and he likes to try and poke feet, tries to box a little bit. He also goes to the ground a lot. He likes to play off his back. And I don't think, you want to do that against a guy like Lewis Lee, who, can kind of just do everything better. He's more fluid on the feet. He doesn't have an awkward stance. He likes to, keep range. And he can also do a lot of damage. And so, yeah, I think Lewis Lee gets this done. Kaushik, he's coming out of India. A lot of these Indian fighters we've been seeing who have been coming into the UFC have not had a great track record. We had Anshul Jubilee, and we had that girl who fought Shauna Bannon. I can't remember her name, but yeah, I mean, outside of them, Kaushik's a good athlete from what we've seen on tape, but Lewis Lee just looks like the better guy overall. So yeah, I think Lewis Lee can get this done. This might be a fight that I think hits the scorecards. As surprising as that is, I mean, he is a pretty heavy favorite, but I wonder why he missed weight, whether it's due to an injury of some sort or if his diet was bad or something. And so that's kind of why I'm a bit concerned. If you do want to play his prop, I'd probably play his KO prop, because I said, a guy who has an awkward striking stance is a guy that's is definitely live for a finish against. So yeah, moving on to the co-main, we have Brandon Holmes versus Cam Rowston. This is a short notice fight for Brandon Holmes. Honestly, my pick here is Cam Rowston, and I'm honestly surprised Rowston's even the underdog, because he is the guy that was scheduled for this bout already. Brandon Holmes is coming in on short notice, like I said. Holmes, he has an okay, I'm gonna say he's 5-0, so he has a good record. He's undefeated, right? But if you look at his fights, he's fighting a guy who's 1-1, 1-0, has no record, 2-0, and 6-5 back on Fury. This was almost 3 months ago. And in this fight, Holmes got rocked pretty bad. And, you see that and you kind of raise the red flag a little bit. You see a guy who's favored, just got recently rocked in his last fight. He's gonna be the smaller guy as far as height goes. They don't have the reach up, but I'm sure he's smaller on the reach as well. But he's gonna be the better athlete. I mean, he's got the better build. But on the other side, you're fighting a guy, Cam Rowston, who has damn near triple the experience in MMA than you. A guy who trains at City Kickboxing with guys like Izzy, and I think Kaikara as well. Yeah. So, and Dan Hooker. And so you're taking a guy here. This guy also has a kickboxing record background. He's fought in other promotions, and you're taking him as the underdog here versus a guy who is fighting basically nobody. He's basically just straight up cans. I expect Cam Rowston to definitely get a finish here. I won't say I'm surprised if he doesn't. But I mean, he's already been on the Contender Series. His loss was to Doris Finney, who is on an okay run. I mean, he kind of just like had a very unimpressive win against Valentine, where he somehow won with like 10 strikes. But yeah, I mean, Cam Rowston is live. He also has a really good ground game, which is surprising. I mean, you couldn't tell in the fight against Doris Finney, but Doris Finney is also a wrestling freak. He can play this anywhere. Holmes, I think, is just gonna, maybe just come out swinging crazy. He's a guy on short notice. He wants something to prove. He's got to earn his contract. And that's the thing about Contender Series is if you come out and you hit the scorecards, we saw it last week. We saw all but like one fight go to the scorecards, and even Dana White said, it wasn't the greatest week. You got to come out prepared. You got to come out ready. And I think like Cam Rowston, I think he's looking at this and he is happy as hell, dude. He's getting to fight a guy on the Contender Series who's on a short notice. And, if he gets the finish here, he's basically stamping his way into the UFC and getting himself a contract. So my pick here is Cam Rowston, inside the distance. Moving on to the main event. Guys, if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, please leave a like. Please also subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel. I'm thinking about getting more videos out. This is why I'm doing this today. I was thinking about it earlier. We want to be able to get you guys what we can when we have the time. Right now I have all the time in the world because I'm laid off from work. But when I am working, it'll be a little bit harder to get content out to you guys. But we're always going to get you guys out the Tuesday show and the Friday show. But shows like these are shows that are going to, come when they come. And so, yeah. Just always keep an eye out for these. If you have notifications on, you'll see videos like these. But you'll always have your Tuesday show and the Friday show that Z and I drop every week. So, yeah, with that being said, here's the main event. We got Manuel Exposito versus Jose Delano. My pick here is Delano. I mean, the guy looks UFC ready. He's going to be better. He's going to be better everywhere this fight goes. He's a very calm, composed guy. He has really good takedown defense. He also has a really good stand-up game. He has great kickboxing. He's able to shoot his own shots here, which is a lot being said on a guy like Manuel Exposito, who's he's an all-offense guy. I mean, he has no defense, but we'll get that in a second. Delano, he's coming off of the LFA. Like I said, we've talked about LFA many times. It's a good regional scene. It's one of the better regional scenes out there. And he's coming off of losses to guys that are on the up and up. Gabriel Santos in his most recent loss is he's another good featherweight. And you look at his record. He's 15-3. Both these guys have pretty big records for Contender Series. But you look at a guy like Delano, who has the defense, who has the offense, who is going to come out and swing for your head and just try and take you out of there. He's training a Brazilian top team. he looks like he's ready. But on the other side, we got Manuel Exposito, and I'm not going to say Exposito is a can. I think he is pretty solid, but my biggest red flag for this guy is that he doesn't have a striking defense unless his defense is using his head and staying on center line and just taking everything in return on counters, because he's the guy who comes out, he'll just come running in on you. He'll swing the big overhands, the big shots, and he'll also try and take you to the ground. And he leaves himself open to all these counters and all these knees up the middle and all these other things. uh I don't think he's ever been put out, but he has 2 losses. He has been put out once. That was 2 years ago. He lost in the second round, but he's he's a very tunnel vision kind of fighter. Very very unpolished. He's just a guy who's coming out, especially on the contender series where it is kind of like finish or see the scorecards, and we've talked about this already. If you're going to see the scorecards, there's a good chance you might not get signed. The UFC is the top dogs. If you're not getting a finish there, what do they think they're going to do with you if you do make it to the UFC? There's not a lot they can really do with you if you're not getting finishes here against guys that are looking for finishes like Delano. Like Delano is gonna work off. He's probably gonna be working off the back foot here, working counters, and he might even work the ground game. I think my pick here is gonna be Delano. Delano probably on sub or on a counter early in the fight. If Exposito comes out guns blazing, I think Delano can find something to put the lights out, or at least drop him and then find his back, and then maybe work ground and pound here. Yeah, that's my pick here. So yeah, let us. Okay. All right. Yeah. So we got Ramiro Jimenez versus Tommy Cuozzi. This was the first fight. Ramiro's open up as the favorite here. The play here. Jimenez by KO, he get it -120. And I think that's probably the best play here. The over under they have on some books at over 1.5 at +128. I like the under 1 to 2.5. Yeah, under 2.5 is -400. I think the -120 here is probably your best play. Like I said, Cuozzi's very hittable, and Jimenez is pretty polished on the feet. Another fight we got in here is Saikumar and Lewis Lee. We're missing a fight. We are missing the heavyweight fight, which is okay. I mean, that fight had some pretty juiced odds. I mean, so is the main event, but yeah. But what was my pick here? I had Lewis Lee on inside the distance. I had him on KO. So Lewis Lee KO. So I had Lee Scott on decision. Scott decision +195. Scott KO is +200. So I think both are very playable. Maybe you can hit a double chance if you like both those, but a guy like Koshik who's gonna be playing off his back, he's gonna probably be trying to roll for leg locks. I think Lee Scott's just gonna try and get him out of there, and work his wrestling. And yeah. All right, co-main. This is the short notice. Cam Rowston. I mean, I would just take the money line straight up. I mean, who knows how much longer he's going to be the favorite. I mean, yeah, it's already dropping as we speak. But if I were to take this, I said Rowston inside the distance. Rowston by KO is +850. And Rowston, do we have a sub? I don't see a sub line. Rowston was by sub in round 1. Is there nothing just on the regular sub? Oh, it's right here. Rowston sub +420. Yeah, I think they expect him to find a sub here more than anything. I think Rowston moneyline is probably the best play here. It's safer than trying to find these props because you know Holmes may not get put out here, and he may be able to find the scorecards. And then the main event, Delano and Exposito. I was saying Delano, but I think Delano can get this done inside the distance. I think he's able to find a counter on Exposito if Exposito's going to come in hot. Delano KO is plus 140. It's a good shot there. And Delano sub plus 350. I think Delano puts his lights out on the feet. Yeah, so those are my plays, guys. With that being said, guys, Z's gonna be back when we record for Friday's show. So keep an eye out for our Friday video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Stay cozy.